Oh hi, I'm Josh. Welcome to the DG Cycles YouTube channel. You may recognize me from such channels as CPR Garage and Ford Truck Stuff, but this is my channel where I cover motorcycle content and PTSD stuff. But this video you're watching now is a set of pipes that I built, the first set I ever built on a motorcycle, for my wife's Sportster out of the TC Bros kit. I'll show you how I did it and what it sounds like, and then we'll have a second episode. Okay, here we go. This guy is the starter stubs. They just welded them onto each end. That's where I'm gonna make my first cut, and here is what the 83 looks like with the stock pipes off. Pretty much any Evo motor. Don't know what happened there. Pretty much any Evo motor looks like that. Here's the drag pipes that were on the bike. And this end is the same as these guys, but what you have to do is take this snap ring off and this flange and reuse those because they don't give you. And Wifey's bike was definitely leaking some exhaust. You can tell by how black it is around there. So you need to get new gaskets anyway, but for mock-up we'll just use the old ones. So I'm going to cut that pipe and get the two stubs put on there and bring it back. Okay, I'm not the guy to teach you how to TIG weld. I'm more like the guy to inspire you that if I can do it, you can. Because, well, you'll see why here in a minute. But let me catch you up. Here is what's left of my kit so far. I have a bunch of little offcuts. There's the stock little clamp guy that I'm going to reuse. There's the old drag pipes. So, go easy on me now. This is my very first TIG welding project. Let me show you the good ones first. Well, I'll show you like this actually. You can see the welds get better as you go. So most of this one and most of that, or all of this one, I fusion welded, which is when you don't use a filler rod. It was actually easier than I thought it would be once you got the settings right. So you can see by the heat marks, like that's a good one. That ain't going nowhere. So anyway, yeah, these ones up here, not so good, but it's okay. I'm learning and we'll get there, you know. You got to ugly weld before you pretty weld, I think. I don't know anybody that just comes out pretty welding. So I've got the flange part with a couple little pie cut bends bolted up in the front, and then getting these two to meet up because this guy is pretty well done. There is going to be heat shields on top of this, by the way. So I need to cut this guy at an angle so that it'll match up to that one, and I need to make a couple marks for what's the top on there and whatnot. The back one I got on, and I just cut it shorter because I'm gonna end up, my other piece is over on the bench, but I'm gonna end up with something kind of like this but shorter, so it'll come down and turn and go straight back. But anyway, yeah, I'll bring it back when I'm welding. Okay, I can show you what I got for an entry-level setup and throw you some tips. As somebody who has MIG welded most of their life, for one, MIG welding is argon CO2 mix. TIG welding, pure argon. So I just have this little titanium unlimited 200, which is TIG, MIG, and stick. It's probably not the best TIG welder, but good enough for what I'm using it for. The biggest lesson I've learned so far is don't try to TIG weld your MIG weld fit up gap. Like, this is probably about as much as you can get away with. Whereas on a MIG weld, I mean, shit, if it was like that, like I could tag that and jump a gap, but that don't fly, TIG welding. So I'm gonna fusion tack this guy on here because I think that we're ready. I think I got the fit up good enough. So I'll show you how I do that. I'm gonna sound like I know what I'm talking about, but I don't. There's the torch. This is a number 5 cup, and this is 1/16 tungsten. My only gripe about this is the knob for the gas. Like, can I get a button that I just like hold down when I want gas? Okay, so no filler rod. So to waste as little gas as possible, I'm going to get this held on there. Let me get in there. Don't be shy. You can you see? You can probably see better than I can right now. I think you can see. If not, you know, that's, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. Okay. So I'm going to hold my alignment mark, and I am going to tack it where I got a real nice fit up right there. So gas on. Okay, it's a nice little tack. Now we want to go on the other side somewhere where we got a nice tight fit. How did I get that fit? Totally on accident and luck. So don't expect me to be able to do that again. Look, would you get in there? Okay. Boys, I'll be damned if I ain't starting to get this TIG welding thing. Now, don't judge me too harshly, but those are some very functional, properly heat penetrated TIG welds, and they even look kind of nice in spots. I would say altogether, like, if you were to put it into a 40-hour week, my experience TIG welding is probably a week and a half to 2 weeks. I will say a tip from a rookie welder: don't try to learn how to TIG weld on aluminum, because you are in fact learning two things at the same time. You're learning TIG welding and you're learning welding aluminum. So this kit is mild steel. I'm gonna coat it, but you know what? It's pretty damn easy to weld. I don't know if I'm ready to tackle stainless, but I will give these welds just a little grind in the worst of the spots, and I'm gonna Cerakote these things, and I think they're gonna look pretty money. Well, it's kind of like it was meant to be, so hopefully that counts for something. That's a fusion weld, by the way. Okay, this is what we're looking at for final mock-up. Gonna slash cut the ends and final weld all those up. And then we're ready to high temp paint them and do heat shields, right? Sure, why not? Why the hell not? I don't know if you heard any of that, so let's go again. Rear pipe ready for assembly and install. Front pipe all ground down, smoothed out, and ready for primer. Now, the front one, here's the lesson I learned. If I had to do that over again, I would buy the same bends and straights in 2-inch, because this is 1 3/4. So the heat shield should be 2-inch to fit over it, because I hope this thing doesn't look like hammered dog shit, because look at that, yeah, full on lobster tail. I bet everybody knows at least one person like this, right? They look like this on the outside, and on the inside they're just all duct taped together junk. Yeah, don't be that guy. Uncle Josh says don't be that guy. I'm going to scrub these with some paint thinner, and we're going to spray them, and then I got to go because I got a birthday party to go to, so let's get to it. Don't mind me, I just died 3 times. Okay, so there was heat shields. Now there's one over there, one there on the ground somewhere else. Yeah, so that's how, oh, I'll show you in a minute how well that went. But so this is what we're doing now. Header wrap. I got the goldish titanium. Wife doesn't like it. I think it looks pretty sweet. So I wanted to share this with you guys because I found it. The trick to getting these zip ties wound up tight, what I had done before is I would pinch this with pliers and pry against that with a big flathead screwdriver. That got them. I mean, they're fairly tight. They definitely could be tighter. That's itchy. Hi. How you doing there? Okay. So, what the internet told me was, nope, wrong pliers. I need the good ones. You need real good pliers, by the way, to cut these. So I'm going to snip that. Snip them. You see things here? Okay. So you take your good needle nose pliers and basically wind this till you kind of feel it yield. So that, it's hard to tell because I can still push it, but not only is it quite a bit tighter, but it also is no longer stabby, because now it's just a nice little curly cue. And I don't know because I've never tried it, but I also think that the little curly would keep it from loosening because it's like wedged now. Anyway, I'm gonna finish doing, whoa, you're floppy. I'm gonna finish doing those, and then we will pull her outside and let the smoke out of them. That's going to do it for this episode. Part 2 is going to be next, and I wasn't quite happy with the sound and the way the pipes looked, so I made some changes, and I think it turned out pretty awesome. So stay tuned for that one. If you don't mind, hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment. A couple things on the PTSD front. So a couple things that I've had happen to me is, one, never tell somebody you know exactly what they're going through, because you don't. You might know something similar or what a situation was like for you. You do not know what this other person is experiencing, even if it's the exact same circumstance that happened to you. That was something we always preached on in CIT. Never tell people you know exactly what they're going through, because you don't. I'll give you a real life example of that. After I was in my first officer involved shooting, I was at the hospital getting my blood drawn, because that's standard procedure, to see if you were impaired by any substances, which I wasn't, of course, but I had a travel ER nurse come in and tell me that he knew exactly what I was going through, because he had had patients die before. No, you don't, unless you've had somebody try to kill you and had to shoot them. You don't know, and that's not even the same thing. I can't tell you how much I wanted to beat the scrubs off of that guy. Luckily, the nurse drawing my blood was a good friend and could see maybe the blood rising in my neck and just told him to beat it. Second thing is, don't ever tell somebody that their trauma basically ain't shit because what you went through was worse. Like, no. Trauma is not a contest, and if you think it is and you should compare who had it the worst, you're an idiot. Don't ever treat people like that. Everybody's scope of experience is different, and you don't, just because you went through something you think is worse doesn't mean that this other person isn't suffering. So don't ever trauma shame people because you think theirs is less than. It's idiotic. Anyway, sorry for getting a little heavy on you there, but next episode I am making some changes to these pipes to make them a little bit more to my liking. I wasn't quite happy with the tone and the look, so you'll see that here along with stuff on all these other bikes if you stay tuned and subscribe. Thanks for watching.